Hi folks, today we're gonna mix Ragdoll with Bullet Solver in somehow in Houdini 19.5, and today's video inspired by Black Adam. Hi again, this is Dyson. Today's video inspired by this scene of my favorite movie, Black Adam. As you can see, this character go to the Ragdoll phase and collapse with this statue. It's no way they animate this character, as you can see. So, and remember, what we produce today, it's the start point, not the whole and final product. So let's begin with importing the FX character via FVX character import here, and let me choose our file here. And as you can see, I have this giant and we don't have any animation. That's because we need bone deform to retrieve the animation. Okay, let me see that, and we have the animation. I download this from Sketchfab and the animation from Mixamo. So let me show you what the output produce here. As you can see, we have the skeleton and we have this animation. So obviously we need to tweak this stream in order to have a ragdoll animation. As you can see, we tweaking the skeleton animation. So first let's drop Regstash pose to create this rest transform here. We need that. Okay, as you can see, we freezing the first frame, and now let's drop configure joint. Nice. Okay, let's enable this one rest transform, and let's change that to ragdoll. And as you can see, this node is responsible for the rotation limit. We're gonna look at later on. Okay, let me clear that, and now let's drop ragdoll collision shape. This node will create shape for each bone to collide with other object in bullet context. So let me show you here. Let me template this one, and let's go to manipulate tools. And as you can see, we can select any bone here and they will create a shape for that bone. So let me adjust that a little quick. And we need one last node to complete this preparation. That will be Ragdoll constraint. So let me connect this one and let's go to the next section. Now the interesting part, let's drop Ragdoll Solver now. Okay, Ragdoll Solver, and let me connect these three here. Nice. And let me see what we have. Okay, let's play. So the skeleton is filling off. Let me connect this one, and voila, we transfer all the simulation to the mesh. Let's enable the ground here, and let me maybe adjust the height of this ground. Okay, and let's play. Okay, that's the first simulation, as you can see, and the rest is twisting. That's because we don't have any rotation limits. Let me enable this one on constraint. We're gonna go back for this later on, and the rotation is here, configure joint. But before I use the rotation limit, we have a solution for that another way. If you're lazy like me, so you can go to constraint and tweak this stiffness. And let me see. Yeah, that's get rid of the problem. Another way to fix this problem, and this the original way, let me reset this parameter. Okay, we have the twisted wrist here, as you can see. Now let's fix it by the rotation limits, and that's the standard. Let me go here manipulate tools, and let me just click on this bone, and that will create this entity for us. So let's play and see what we have now. Okay, as we can see, this joint have a zero limitation. It means it cannot be rotated to any direction. So now let me create a rotation for these all node little quick here, and that's the default one. So let's see the simulation now. Okay, let me enable the ragdoll here and let's play. As you can see, this simulation is stiff and solid, and the limitation is 0. That will froze all the bone. So later on we're gonna tweak this limitation, as you can see. So let me tweak this one, for example, by the handle, and here for instance. Okay, and now here, and let me see. Okay, as you can see, we have this simulation. This process is a little bit frustrating. That's because we need to go back and forth and tweak some rotation limit until we have a result we desire. Okay, as you can see, I am back and forth tweaking these handles. Okay, after a while, I am set up this rotation limit, and let me check the head now, and let's simulate and see what we have. Okay, we have a decent Ragdoll Solver here. We're gonna improve that later on. So as you can see, the fingers is so stiff and solid. That's because we need to do the same step for this finger now. Now let me show you something. As you can see, I draw this giant shape blocking the whole hand, so that's wrong. We need to create shape for each finger, as you can see, and that's so time consuming, I have to say. So have a patience and do that precisely. It can be so effective to the result. And the rotation limit, as you can see, I'm doing that too. So, and now as you can see, the fingers are live now. Okay, now as you can see, the ragdoll is starting immediately at frame 0. What if we need a transition from this animation to the ragdoll? So we have an option for that in Ragdoll Solver, and let's enable that. We can use this mode, object bound, for instance, incoming, outcoming, or as you can see, the distance impact. You can test those, but today we're gonna enable this time mode here. Okay, that's so funny. As you can see, we have a transition from the animation to the ragdoll. So as you can see, let me decrease that and see. So we have this shock and this bad transition. So we're gonna fix that later on. And this option right here, we can clip the animation. Let me delete this default channel, and with this option you can shift and offset the default animation. Okay, before we move on, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And if you have any question, leave me in the comment section. And big shout out for my Patreon supporter. We have awesome stuff and project file and many things here. Okay, if you want to support our community, please check my NFT page here. I have awesome stuff there. Okay, what's about this flip? As you can see, we have this shock transition between the ragdoll and the animation. That's because we have intersected collision shape. So for sake of this demonstration, we're gonna use this one. Let's disable this attribute, and as you can see, we have this parameter. Let's decrease that, and let's play and see what we get. And let's increase this position, and now it's better. So that's one solution. Later on, we're gonna adjust the collision shape. So for now, that's cool. So let me decrease the stiffness, for instance. The constraint option is the short period and alternative for this solution, as you can see. But the main thing is to adjust the collision shape and rotation limit. These two parameters is the key for the nice ragdoll simulation, as you can see. So we have this one, and this is not bad. Let me adjust the transition. As you can see, we don't have this shock effect between the transition and this head. As you can see, it's collapsing. That's because we need to adjust the collision shape here. Let me show you. So let me disable this Ragdoll Solver, and yeah, it must be extended here, and yeah, that's not bad. Okay, maybe this, and let me see that. Okay, let's play and see the head. Yeah, it's better, but we're gonna improve that over time. Okay, now we have this issue here. It's falling a little bit. That's because the ground plane need to be adjusted. As you can see, we have distance between this one and the ground plane, and that's, well, good for now. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now let's have a geometry to collision with. As you can see, I have this statue of Superman. I download this from Sketchfab again, and yeah, let's create RBD configure in order to connect this one to this input. And let me create merge node here to merge the output and this collision shape. Let's play, and as you can see, this geometry is falling and our character is colliding with this geometry, and that's so cool. But as you can see, this geometry is so strong that we can move it. So that's because we need to decrease the density or the weight. So let's decrease that, and the giant will be heavier now. And let's see, and bam. So that's cool. We are pushing this geometry. Now let's fix this falling. Okay, the statue is falling a little bit. That's because we need to adjust the transition. Okay, gonna align it with the ground here. Okay, let me adjust that. Nice. And let me see that. Let's play. Okay, now if you notice, we have this distance between our character and this statue, and that's so interesting to me. So that's not because the convex hole, and if we change that to concave, the problem will be remain. You will see that. Okay, we have the distance, as you can see. Let me show you here, and that's because the collision shape of the head. We need to adjust the collision shape. Let me show you first, and and that's the collision shape. And as I said before, be careful with the collision shape. That will affect the simulation and produce the artifact. So this collision shape, it's too big, and let's adjust that and see what we get. Okay, bring it here, and that's awesome. And let's see what we get now. Okay, we have this simulation so far, and that's cool in my opinion. Okay, we have RBD material fracture to turn this statue to pieces by this node, and this node is so handy in sub-level. I used it more often. So as you can see, the falling or the simulation is starting. So that's because we have active to 1, and if we put that to 0, that means we have a static object. Okay, I'm gonna animate this one in this frame, for instance. Okay, we have 0 and 1 here, and that's cool. And let's play and see what we have. I want to show you something, and that's not gonna work, as you can see, because this attribute is not overwrite by the time. We need to enable this one now. This one, okay, gonna overwrite active attribute, and let's see now, and voila. Okay, so far so good. We have this simulation, and I have a custom force to embrace the impact. Okay, let's go to Ragdoll Solver and create a pop force here, and let's create pop group, and let's have a name for that, and let me select it here, and let's enable bounding option and bounding sphere, and let me adjust that. Okay, before that, let me play and see where the head is gonna impact to the statue here. Okay, now let's bring the bounding box in this area, and maybe let's increase the size of it a little bit. We don't need a messy force here. Okay, that's not bad. And let's enable pop force. We need force in the Z direction to pull these pieces. Okay, we need to animate the activation too here. Nice. And let's see what we get now. Okay, that's better, I guess, but we need to embrace this force here. Okay, let's go to Ragdoll Solver, and maybe, yeah, that's not bad. Let's increase the Z axis force. Okay, and that's the result, as you can see. So, and I guess that's the start point and the whole idea. And I have a different simulation I tested, as you can see, maybe with this character, and I enjoy this one.
A few moments later.
Okay, and I did a back and forth process, and as you can see, I fixed the collision shape to avoid intersecting, and I modified the rotation limit and constraint option. It's here, and that's the ragdoll. And for the statue, I modified this statue with this one, and I convert that to VDB and clip that to two part, down and up, as you can see. So I wanna art direct and have a different simulation, and I enable this chopping is in RBD material, and I animate this active one differently for each part, and I transfer this velocity here, as you can see, to have a motion vector in the renderer, and you need to transfer it in the collision geometry here, and that's necessary. And of course I file cache that and then split that to different section, and I use this one to the Pyro solver, and this final version will be available on my Patreon. And that's the result, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Have a good day. Take care.